Good afternoon. I know that it's been a long day for everyone. My name is Wido, and I'm the marketing head for Danone Indonesia. And today I'm here with my partner in crime, Adam, who comes from the agency, to talk about how do we build brand love by embedding our brand into the life of everyday Indonesian. Now, of course, because this is modern marketing, we're also going to have to do it in a new way. And that is really through unleashing the power of contextual marketing. So, I am in a privileged position that about a year and a half ago, I have the opportunity to handle one of the most iconic brands in Indonesia, and that is Aqua. The impact and scale of this brand is huge. We are a country where safe drinking water is not available for all. We serve more than 100 million consumers in this country. It is a huge privilege, but it is also a huge responsibility. So, when we came in, both of us actually around the same time, about a year and a half ago, we realized that one of the things that usually happen in a big brand is that because you have such a large audience, it has become very, very difficult to remain relevant to this very broad audience. I think some of you know that I've worked in different brands in Indonesia, but usually they have a very specific target. Housewives, younger audience, men. This time, because we're selling water, it is serving a very large consumer. So the biggest challenge is how do we stay relevant? How can we be consistent when we have such a huge audience? And when we started our journey with Aqua, we had many different messages for different audiences. As a result, the brand means different things to the different consumers. So that's when we said we're going to write a brief and ask our partner to help us solve this problem. What is the problem that we want to solve? It's very important for us to start with a problem statement. Basically, we said we need to be relevant to a very broad audience, remain simple, consistent, and easy to understand. But most importantly, how do we do this in a way that is unique to our brand? How do we do this in a way that leverages the power of what our brand is about? So that's a problem statement. Of course, in a brief, what you do is, you also have to connect it to the consumer. What is it that our product is addressing as a tension in our consumer's life? So, as we all know, maybe all of you are also noticing you have all this water in your table. A lot of us, the productive age of Indonesian, are actually not consuming enough water. 62% of us are not doing this. Now, yet, if we ask you, do you think water is important for your health? Your answer is yes. 2 years ago, when the pandemic started, this awareness becomes even more important. Everybody is aware of this. At the same time, our life is becoming more and more challenging. You have to worry about your mask, you have to worry about carrying hand sanitizer, not too close to your friends or families. So, as it is important and the awareness is becoming very high, people are not able to remember doing it. So those are the two things that we put in our brief and give to our agency partner. And we said, help us solve this problem. And remember, we have a large audience to connect with. I'm handing over to Adam on what then the agency did with that brief.
Okay, thank you, Wido. So it's always a pleasure when a client comes to us with a really concise business challenge and an open brief such as this. Be consistent, be simple, be clear, and do something which is meaningful to the brand. And so, how we started this project was to first look at where Aqua was strong. In this case, its leadership and its brand assets. So, number one, Aqua is the superior brand in the market. It was the first bottled water in Indonesia, and it's been part of Indonesians' everyday life for at least almost 50 years. Secondly, the product itself. So, the water comes from the most protected natural sources. I've actually visited these sources myself, and I have to say, it is really impressive. The brand really makes the effort to go above and beyond and protect its water and guarantee its safety. Why is this important? Well, water is life. Water is life. There you go. It sounds like a very obvious statement, of course, but it's one that we often tend to forget. When everything in the world becomes commoditized, especially the water we need to survive. And not only that, whereas water in Indonesia is life, specifically in Indonesia, Aqua is water. And so, since its inception, Aqua has been on a mission to provide healthy and safe drinking water for all Indonesians. And through its brand history, it is consistently through its history, the brand has through its history, the brand has
I think you need Aqua dulu.
Aqua dulu. Thank you, Widow. So we concluded that it was really time for Aqua to take ownership of this superiority, to become relatable, simple, and to build occasions for all Indonesians, and to take advantage of this relevant tension, that Indonesians are not drinking enough water, although it is revered in the country. And we decided it was time to go back to basics. And our suggestion was a simple hydration reminder, a hydration reminder that only Aqua could own and deliver as a superior brand in the market, and therefore leverage its brand superiority, a relevant tension, and to create occasions that all Indonesians can own. Introducing Aqua dulu. So what is Aqua dulu? Aqua dulu is a hydration reminder that highlights Aqua as the precursor for any occasion. And what we really want to do with this campaign is to remind Indonesians that drinking Aqua is the first and most essential thing they need to do to protect their health as they go about their daily activities. A very simple, everyday phrase that everybody understands. So a very simple line at first sight, but it is exactly this simplicity that works. And I'm going to hand back over to Widow, thankfully, to take us through how we bring this to life through our communications.
Okay, thank you, Adam. So, how do we bring this to life? A very simple idea. It's a hydration reminder. We started in Jan, And basically what we did is we called all of our agency partners, TV, digital platform, everyone who are willing to come and take on this challenge to join us in a briefing. What we said to them is we give them a criteria of what it is that we want to do. As I said, hydration reminder, it has to be branded, it needs to be relevant, has to be done in a way that is authentic, and it has to scale. And basically what I promise these agencies and partners is that if you're able to excite us with your idea and it is something that we can put on consistently, we will put the money. So, I'm going to start with how we executed on TV. It was Ramadan, and this will give you an illustration of how we executed in TV.
Sibuk warawiri, tahu-tahu beduk udah bunyi. Aqua dulu.
Bangun anak-anak, ayo bangun cepat sahur.
Bangun sahur? Nyawa belum ngumpul. Aqua dulu.
Datang dari sumber alam yang terlindungi, murninya air mineral Aqua, berikan air minum berkualitas. Apapun aktivitasmu di bulan puasa ini, Aqua dulu.
So that's how we kick it off. But imagine the different moments that we can capitalize with the same idea. There are everyday moments where you wake up in the morning, commuting, coming back from work, also expressing different type of audiences, as I mentioned. Someone working in an office, a Gojek driver at the end of the day, people doing overtime at work. I think all of us can relate to this, but also in special occasion, like badminton, or when you're just about to say your vows in your wedding day, and then suddenly you get the nervousness. So these are just some of the examples in how we can bring it to life and contextualizing it in a medium that is probably a little bit more restrictive because it's TV. But we did it anyway. And of course, when we talk about Indonesia, we have many different languages, different areas in the country. We bring our out-of-home into that proximity, to create that proximity, local languages. And again, the opportunity is endless. But of course, where else, where else would be the better way of doing contextualization if not digital? So I'm not going to tell you the story, but I'm just going to show you what we did and the result. So I think this is the important point here. And the reason why we're sharing this is because I've been in this industries for more than 20 years. Digital, new platform, innovation is always a buzzword. But how do you use it in a way that is surfing your brand, that can create scale and impact, and that can also build your brand? And I think those are the important things. And with this idea, we are able to do that. It's not so much about the 25 billion hashtag that we get in TikTok, or the fact that we surpass all the norm in Asia Pacific. But it's more about being able to build this consistently, and we have been doing it in the past 9 months. So, of course, when doing this, there's a lot of myths that we busted, and I always love doing myth busting. Virality. As a marketer, I'm not a big fan of virality, because what happened with virality is you get a peak, and then that's it. Now, it is not always just about being funny, popular, or emotional. You can do this through being useful. Big brands cannot be edgy and cool. I think I have to say that everybody working in this brand is right now feeling that this is pretty cool and edgy, right, we're doing. That you have to constantly change your campaign every time you want to do something in digital. That is not true. We kept the same idea the past 9 months, and hopefully we're going to continue to stay in the same course for the next year. And last but not least, the first problem that we had at the beginning when I presented to you the issue about being a big brand and having a big audience, we are able to do this in a consistent and relevant way with one single message. The last point that I want to share is this. Marketing seems to be the nice part of the business where you do all these creativity and fun and all that. But I also feel that marketing is a very important part of the business because we directly have an impact with our consumers. Life these days are not easy. The people that are buying our products are struggling. If we really want to build brand love, the answer is in being useful for their lives. And that is what a brand purpose is about. Lastly, this is not just a work of the two of us. As I said, when we started this project, when we got the idea, we briefed our agency's partner. These are just the people that we collaborate. And again, this is all about collaboration and teamwork. Thank you very much. Right on the clock.
Give it up, Ibu Widow dan Pak Adam. Thank you very much. Such insightful session. We'd like to invite you to take the stage, the front stage rather, for our official photos. Yeah, maybe you would like to pose like 007. Give it a good
Selamat sore. Apa kabar? Okay, that is my pitch on Bahasa. Ibu, Bapak, my presentation is actually going to be very small. It's 5 to 10 minutes. The idea is that we've actually done a research and a case study on a new methodology, which we are talking about is how we can show profitable growth by just changing the spend mix. And it's not about media mix. It's about how you prioritize your customers, how in this world of business impact, Ibu Widow just said, if it's all about brand purpose, brand love, what we are trying to do at MMA is just to be useful, to make sure that we are able to put together methodologies, frameworks, metrics, measurement, guidelines, to make sure that all marketeers understand that dynamic. So, the study is called Outcome-Based Marketing. It's a case study based on an application, based on a framework that we started a few years back, which was all about putting marketing framework growth and making a practical approach to identify how do you make better impact on your business using the same marketing tools. The idea here is also to make sure that we are looking at a profitable strategy. MMA stands for business impact. Our awards Smarties are also led by business impact. And therefore, our whole purpose is to make sure that many and most of the media plans start to look at maximizing the reach first. When they're looking at maximizing the reach, what does it mean? It means either you can go to the entire population, which is the reach frequency population, or you can start to segment your population. And this is what we call the new framework. If there's one thing that you need to take away from this presentation, is called the movable middles. What we believe, truly believe, and the case study has proven, is once you divide your population into different segments, there's the low probability segment, there's a high probability segment, which is your domain, which are your loyal customers, and then there are customers at the other extreme who may never ever buy your product, no matter how much you expose your ad and brand to them. So reach-based planning is a recipe for suboptimal ROAS. And we have proven that case study, which we believe if you spend the money right and move the funds from your low probability customers and also your high probability customers. Now this is very important because, for example, I'm a Singapore airline frequent flyer. I'm in the segment 1 to 4, if we were to divide that. There's no price point at which I will switch. I get benefits which no other airline for one-time travel can give me that. It's very unlikely I will switch for price or for product. Therefore, if they are continuing to send me messages, it is not required. I don't need to be sent a message every day, every month from them. As long as they can give me the right service and give me the right messaging on the product. Therefore, you can afford to move that money into the movable middle. And movable middle is a segment who is right there and has the propensity to switch to your product. If you are able to do that and target that, what you will get is a high level of ROAS, but what is more important in the case study that I'm going to share is that the possibility of the spend reach is as much as 50% growth or 2x of the ROAS. So that's the context I wanted to set. That's the framework we built. Once we built this framework, we said, let's put it to a practical use and do a case study. So we did a case study with Reckitt Benckiser. And what we were able to prove, this case study was done in US for the infant milk category. And what we were able to prove is that you can actually get 2x response of your advertising, of your audience, and response to your marketing by adopting the framework that we did. So our learning on the agenda was challenging, but the MMA case framework that was published was called outcome-based marketing. We basically decided to test the principles on acquisition-based marketing, on the formula milk category, of the sampling of the formula milk which was being given to the to-be mothers to 3 years of the life cycle of the product. And what we did was we segmented the entire population into 20 segments, low to high, as I explained, and evaluating the response of the spends, moving the spends from the lower segment to the higher segment. We were able to decide, we were able to decipher that the movable middles, which was segment 3 to 13 in their case, gave them double return on investment. The purchasing went up, the acquisition strategy proved itself, there were 2 times more customers who bought it. So that's the movable lift that we got. Based on the analysis of the acquisition marketing, what we did was do the sampling of lower probability to purchase, which is 16% of the population, and the movable middle, which was 56% of the population in that particular case. And we optimized the offering to movable middle, segment 3 to 13, and eliminate all offers from 14 to 17. And this is the result that they got. 44% ROAS on the same spend that they were planning to do before they integrated the framework into their strategy, into their campaign. So expanding the internal marketing and analytics capability based on this particular business case, acquisition-based marketing program based on the framework of OBM2, and optimizing the brand media planning by running the OBM tests. We were able to prove that you can get to twice the amount of impact for the same dollar that you may have at the beginning. It all sounds very simple. I think as an end user, as a businessman, as a CEO, as a brand manager, I think it's obvious that this is how it should be. But we don't do it. And I think it's time we start looking at it, start answering the right questions, and start taking the right decisions. We are very happy to offer this case study to you if you want. This is publicly presentable right now. Reckitt Benckiser has given us the permission. We have the data of the amount of spends they did, the amount of ROI they got, all that is part of it. And if any brand or agency would like to adopt this framework, work with MMA, we are more than happy to have you, welcome you to participate with that. With that, as I said, in less than 10 minutes, just a quick preview, but making the point. What you need to think of is mass reach is not the way going forward. With digital, with targeting, with segmentation, signals, you have the new way of marketing, the modern way of marketing. And that's what MMA stands for. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here. I hope you had a good day. And thank you so much once again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Rohit Dadwal. That was...
I gave 2 minutes back to you guys.